Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I decided to take a little bit of a break from the sound system today, and I wanted to work on something in the garage. Now, as you know, I've been kind of doing a little bit of woodworking here, as if all the tools and the sawdust on the ground weren't enough clue of that. And there's been one little part of this project that's been really frustrating, and that is, in the past, when I was in my workshop in California, it was a lot easier to get at power, because what I had is I had one of those little cord retractor things hanging from the ceiling that I could just pull down and have an extension cord anywhere. I've actually found that part, but I haven't reinstalled it yet. And as a result, it's like I said, it's been kind of a pain in the neck when I needed to use electrical stuff, because I got to go, find an extension cord and run it to where I need to go and all that fun stuff. And I just decided it's time to get that installed. See, this is the kind of thing that every wood shop needs to have. It's just a retractable little extension cord that you can hang from the ceiling, and you pull the cord down when you need it. Now, I also have one for my air compressor, and I figure while I'm installing this one, let's get this one installed as well, because one of the things I do want to get going pretty quick here is I want to get that air compressor working again, because that isn't 100% either. And so let's get going on this. Let's get these two things installed. Alright, so I got the first one up. This actually took a little bit longer to get to here than I thought it would, because I had to first figure out which way the studs were going. See, this thing's relatively heavy, so I don't want to just anchor it to with drywall anchors or anything like that. It has to actually go into a stud, and I had to figure out if the studs went this way or went this way, and the only way to do that was to get up into the attic. Well, the problem is I had so much junk up here on top of the storm shelter here that I couldn't open up the door to look up there, so I actually had to rearrange stuff up here. When I got my washer and dryer, you remember that was another fiasco with Lowe's, and they wanted it to be about a week before they delivered, and I said nuts to that, and I just went out and bought a cheap piece of plywood and a couple of 2x4s and got my own ramp, or got my own truck from U-Haul, and I turned this into a ramp, which enabled me to get it out of the truck, because the truck I had didn't have a lift gate. Well, the problem is it was a 4x8 piece of plywood, so it came out to here. So there was no way I was going to get that trap door to come down. So first thing I had to do was pull this piece of plywood down off of here and cut it down to size so I can use it properly in the future. And that took a little bit of time. Additionally, I've been kind of storing cardboard boxes up there. I think it's time for me to start getting rid of cardboard boxes, because this is a great storage place up here for larger items like Halloween props and stuff like that. So I finally got him off the workbench, and that was kind of where I wanted to put him anyway. And we got a little bit more room up here, and like I said, I shortened it up now so that I can open up the access way into the attic. And once I got up there, I was able to verify that the beams go this way. So I found the beam, drove a couple of actually deck screws. They're about 3.5 inches long, so that should be very, very sturdy. And I also got a little power adapter here that turned 2 outlets into 6, and so that's going to also be a little bit more convenient, because now I have the garage door opener, this thing, and all of the LED lights that I installed a few months ago all powered in on this. So that shouldn't be a problem, because I'm not going to be using any of that stuff all at the same time. You're never going to be opening and closing the garage at the same time you're running the saw, so it shouldn't be a problem. This also has a nice surge suppressor in it, so that's a good thing too. So I think the next thing I want to do is I want to put the compressed air hose retractor thing, this thing, onto the ceiling, and I think I'll probably put it right here. And this is a little bit heavier, and so I'm going to actually use a couple of pretty hefty lag bolts to go into there. So I'll have to drill those out, of course, and get them driven ahead of time, and then we can hang the air compressor hose here too, and that'll get both of those things done. Oh yeah, and we got a tropical storm Beta that was kind of hanging out off the coast of Texas in the Gulf of Mexico, and it has moved ashore now enough, and we are getting a little rain from it. It's not really a hard rain, it's just kind of a gentle rain, but you know what? Rain is rain. I love it when it rains. Okay, got these up. Now, one of the things I had to deal with is I had to kind of set the cord retract, the little ball here that they have on each one of those to keep the thing from going too far into it. I used to have it so that the cable hung down about this far off of the thing, so that this little ball thing here was like way up here. Problem is, at this point, you know, I'm going to end up bumping my head on that. So just set it so it's higher. I had to do the same thing on this one. But, you know, I only have an 8-foot tall ceiling in here and not a 9-foot tall ceiling like I had in the house in California. So, you know, just a little bit of extra clearance. What I've done is I've actually got the little regulator here. I actually have the rest of the cable is over here with the rest of the hose is over here with the compressor. And ultimately, I think I want to run that hose up to here and connect everything together. I did this in California, but I didn't use the right kind of cable ties at that point, or, you know, hose ties. And what would end up happening is they would always break. So I actually went and found a couple of these in my toolbox, and I think I'm going to go buy some more of these, and then we'll just kind of run the hose all the way along here and down the wall over there to the compressor. So off to Home Depot we go. Alright, so I'm back from Home Depot, and I got a bunch of these metal insulated clips that I think will be strong enough when combined with these heavy-duty drywall anchors that will be able to connect the hose up and keep it secure up there and not have it break like it used to back in California. Now, I was a little bit surprised that I couldn't get these things in any more quantities than a package of 2. You know, I was hoping I'd get just a box of them, but they only sell them in quantities of 2, so I literally cleaned out every one that Home Depot has. That's just the way it goes. That's what I need, so there they are. Alright, so I've strung the air hose along here. It's going to go all the way down the wall here. Cable was a little longer than it needed to be, so I kind of wrapped it around a little bit. And I just got kind of a funky little hook here to hang it when it's not being used, because normally it'll be attached to the compressor here. But occasionally I'll be disconnecting the compressor, so I just wanted to make sure that we had a place to put the cable. So I'm going to push the compressor back into that spot, and we're going to go from there. Also, when I was down here, you may remember when I was messing around with outlets back here, I plugged the compressor into the bottom outlet and it didn't work. And I knew that there was a problem with one of the outlets here, and decided just for grins and giggles here, I was going to put my little cable tester, or my little plug tester on it. Now, when you plug it into the top one, the 2 lights are going on, and that means that it's normal connection. But when you plug it into the bottom outlet here, only 1 light is going on. So when you actually look at the little lineup of the description of the light combinations, it tells me that when the right light is on only, it means I have an open neutral. So I'm going to actually, while I'm in here, while I'm got easy access to this, I'm going to actually pull this outlet off the wall, and let's see what's going on in there. Alright, so before I took this off, I started trying to think about what was going on, because normally the way these outlets are configured is you run 1 wire for each of the 3 lines, and then both outlets work. The fact that 1 outlet didn't work and 1 did, there was only really 1 explanation I could come up with for that. If you look here, let's see, get this to focus here. There we go. Okay, so we got the black wire coming in here, and this screw here and this screw here are connected with this little metal plate behind it. Okay, and they want you to do it that way because then you can activate both outlets if you want. But sometimes you'll have an outlet like where one of them will be on all the time and one of them will be connected to a switch. And so at that point you want the outlets connected differently. So what you'd do is you'd break this little metal piece here. You can usually get in there with a pair of needle nose pliers and break that. And that breaks the connection between here and here. And then you can run a separate wire over to here and have this one controlled by like a switch or, you know, some other source. Now this side here looks good, but when you get over here, that little metal piece is broken. You can see it. It's all kind of twisted around in here, and it's no good. So that's why the bottom outlet doesn't work. Now, I could probably just fix that by taking a piece of wire and connecting from here to here, but you know, it almost isn't worth the trouble. And the truth is, electrical outlets are so cheap that it's just maybe worth the trouble just to replace it. And as it turns out, I have an extra outlet here, so I'm just going to connect this one in. In fact, you can see better here what this piece looks like here. Let me put this down on the ground so I can actually point to what's going on here. Okay, focus for me. There we go. Now we're getting there. All right, you can see this little metal piece here connects this plate to this plate, and that means that both outlets are going to work. And it works the same on the reverse side here. So this is a good outlet, but you can see on this one that this one isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace this outlet. It's a lot easier than trying to fix it, and it's a lot safer too. Yeah, looking at this thing now that I got this thing out, somebody damaged this when they installed it, and this thing was a fire hazard, so it was a good thing I removed that, because all you need to do is get some weird funky connection. Like I said, this is all split apart here, it's split apart here. Somebody just destroyed this outlet when they installed it, or they did something wrong, and so yeah, this was the right decision just to replace this. Now, you know me, whenever I do this, before I button everything up, what I want to do is I want to test the circuit. So we're going to plug in the outlet tester, and yep, we got 2 lights on the top and 2 lights on the bottom. So yeah, this outlet's working again. So yeah, that's how simple that is. You know, just got to do it right. And like I said, I'm glad I looked into that, because that was a fire hazard, definitely. Because all you got to do is get something touching something wrong in there, and all of a sudden you get a dead short to this metal plate or this metal box in here, which is grounded, and who knows what that might do. That might trip a breaker if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, you know, burns the house down. That's no fun. All right, much better. Works properly. It's all buttoned up. It's good to go. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. All right, so I think that's all that I have for today. I hope you found this entertaining and maybe slightly educational. Come back tomorrow, because I'm going to actually dig into this air compressor and try and figure out why that thing is leaking the way it is. I think I probably just have some loose fittings, but we're going to just basically make sure that that whole thing is working properly. So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.